Ljubljana or in Belgrade?
I'm sorry?
Where is the Uroboros festival? Is it in
Oh,
Belgrade?
it's online.
I know, but
No, but we are based in Prague,
in
in
Prague.
Czech Republic, yeah.
Okay.
So that's where the festival was supposed to happen. But now we're online, so we're everywhere.
Exactly.
So where's everyone actually then? I'm in Amsterdam. Where are you guys? Physically based now?
I'm in Berlin.
Okay.
Yeah, same.
I'm in Seattle.
Bratislava.
And more people
Rotterdam.
coming. Amsterdam.
Rotterdam.
Rotterdam. Cool. Okay, more people joining.
7, 8. Yeah.
But I
Jealous of that wine, but we'll wait a bit. But I have coffee in a skull glass. How nice is that?
Where did you get it?
I don't know. When I used to have my studios before I moved, there's this the southeast of Amsterdam is this shop for this kind of stuff. It's really strange. It's really a maze how you walk through it. It's like these paths. It's packed with everything that you actually don't need, but some things are nice. A bit of everything.
Yeah. Okay. Hello, everyone who joined also a bit later, and hello also to everyone who is watching us from the YouTube stream, YouTube live stream. So I think we can start this workshop. We have Stefan Schäfer here. I will maybe just give a short introduction. Stefan is a designer and researcher. He's based in Amsterdam. We actually know each other from years back when I lived in Amsterdam and we were studio mates. So yeah, we know each other for quite some time. So that's why I'm very happy that he can be here and we can have this session together. Stefan deals in his practice with the topic of death and memorial culture. I guess you all know about it because you joined this workshop. He also deals with visual literacy and interdisciplinary experiments. His work results in prints, sound, performance, object, writing, and installation. At this moment, he is developing his new long-term research project called Death, Environment, Anthropocene, and Design, or a shortcut, DEAD, D-E-A-D. And this project aims to develop new conceptions and exposures of death, ritual, and memory in the context of environmental ruination in what has been labeled as the epoch of the Anthropocene. Stefan is also a founder of LDDA, or Let Death Dance Again studio, or it's like a name for this scope of research that he's working on. And in the future, or also at the moment, I'm not sure, he's he's also collaborating with professionals from other fields that share the same research topic. And I think I will give the space to Stefan now, because I think I said everything that I have here prepared. And I hope you will enjoy the workshop. And I will share some links in the chat. And also, please, if you want to share with us your setup, what's behind your screen during this session, or any part of your creative process, please add a hashtag Uroboros station to your social media posts. We would like to collect all these pictures from behind the scenes of Uroboros Festival. Cool. Okay, Stefan, it's all yours.
Great. Hi, I'm Stefan. Really happy that that you all joined. So I don't know if everyone got my emails. I sent a little extra information on the text and a kind of a schedule. What I would like to do is that I will introduce myself a bit more with some objects related to the workshop. Also tried to figure out why I got this fascination to work on a lot of death things. I think I'm almost there, so I will try to explain this a bit as well. Then I would like to ask you guys to introduce yourselves also really shortly. What's your background? Maybe why you find this workshop interesting, and then and if you have already some idea what would be your non-living object you want to make a memorial for. And then we will split the groups in little smaller groups in this breakout rooms, and then we can just discuss things. This workshop it's really good to make things immediately, but it's also really about the discussion. But I think this relevance of that will be clear after my short talk. So yeah, I'm Stefan. I'm based in Amsterdam. Originally, I'm from Germany, Bochum in the Ruhr area. But I moved, I think, 2005 to the Netherlands to study graphic design in Arnhem at Artes. And then already knew I would stay in this country. I did the master's at the Sandberg Institute, also in Amsterdam. It's the master of the Rietveld Academy. This is the link where Lenka and me met for the first time. I think I was just done when you started, but somehow Sandberg stays a bit always rotating with transition.
It's true.
Yeah. So then I decided to stay in Amsterdam, started my own design practice. Mostly I do self-initiated projects, research projects, and here and there some client work as well, but actually not too much. I teach at the art school in Utrecht, HKU, and also at the AHK Breitner Academy in Amsterdam. That's a bit my practice. A few years ago, I collaborated with Dr. Emily West, doctor in medicine, the first time on a topic around death, and it was also kind of a collective called Digital Death Drive, I think we were called. Then Digital Necropolis. We had different names as long as there's some death in it. And we investigated how internet and online culture has influence on death and new ways of memorials. So you have online memorials. What are new ways of dying? So we investigated self-related deaths and make a whole collection and made first memorial shirts around this. And then I found it actually really interesting to look further. What's the next step to connect death with? And then I got the question several times, but why do you have this fascination actually? And I never really knew until I think now the memorial really works as a memorial, the things I will show now. So I had this uncle who also died now. That's why the things I will show now in a bit are kind of memorials. He had this whole apartment full of illegal animals. Now I can say it because he can't get punished anymore. He's spread on the North Sea, so literally there's no one who can find him back. But he had all these illegal animals that he got some really weird friends. And when they died, he also stuffed them. So what I got from him still are little dried animals. That was one of his snakes. He also made objects out of them. So he had this walking stick that was just one of his, I think it was his most hated snake because she was always biting him. So he said, "Now, you know what? Now you will end up as a walking stick." So this just, I don't know exactly how, it's dried. He has a friend as well, tiny lizard. This guy, chameleon, looks like lollipop. They don't really smell. They're also, I don't know, 30 years old. So that was one part in relation to death that I got for him, because he also wrote a pirate story and everything full of skulls. He gave me a lot of t-shirts when I was 6 with, I don't know, these rotting faces on it and some death on it. I still like to wear these kind of things, but then less gory. Band shirts I like now, they have the same thing. But also what he did, he was really good in drawing. So I also like always to sit and draw with him. So next to this, the only thing I have left, except one assignment he gave me, is one drawing of an eagle. I have no idea why it's an eagle, but it's the only thing next to this dried animals that I have of him. So that's two parts for me that are really precious memorials than related to death. And I think this kind of was always in the head of my bag, that I would like to work on it, because I found it really interesting. But what especially was interesting, that I also came out later, is that death has always the representation of it. I mean, what we still have is, everyone knows the Grim Reaper, you know, with the skiff. It's actually really old school. I have this book that I'm reading. It's by a German guy, I think is also already dead, unfortunately, called Helmut Rosenfeld. And you know, you have a good guy writing on death when the German name Helmut is written with a double L. I don't know, I really like that detail. But he has written this book, The Medieval Dance of Death. So he tries to come up with, he made a whole map how it all came up with, and he has several representations that go, this is before the Grim Reaper was here. It's even nice that it's kind of really a chimera. It's mixing not only Christian, that's a skiff already as a tail. So that's already like a really nice chimera that I think it's nice that it's not only human related. These kind of things are also quite famous, I think. There's a lot of aesthetics in the Dance of Death. So when I found this book, I thought, wow, it's really nice. With my interest in the representation of death, how can it actually look when it's not only human related? Because what I find interesting, and what is one core point in my ongoing upcoming research, is also based on a detail of the Dance of Death, that humans back then, I mean, this is the medieval times, was supposed to be conscious about their own creaturalness. So you know your spot on the planet. It's all interconnected. It's with nature. I mean, they didn't have technology then, the digital one, of course, but it's all interconnected. Take care of each other a bit more. So it's more like, do something better in your life than being egoistic. And the German word for this is, because that's a German book, is Kreatürlichkeit. It's a lovely word, but I don't know how you can translate this nicely. But I like this idea. So this is, to me, this was already one part, and it's clear, okay, this is more human uncentered in relation to death. And I think this little chimera shows this also nicely. Then the discussion around climate change, from what I've followed, you have vocabulary, extinction rebellion, the death of and the funeral for the glacier in Iceland, Okkjökull. So many things are dying that are, I mean, I don't know how a mountain is alive, but or other things that are not only related to climate change, but phones. My phone died, so I got interested in when the people say this is dying, this is dead, or it's the death of blah blah blah, to something that's really actually not per definition has never been alive, if that makes any sense. But this is a bit how it really shortly it wraps up how I came to this idea. Another example. So I thought, do I have some objects that could operate as a memorial for the death of something that had maybe never been alive? And I'm trying, I mean, it's really loose associated. It's not that there's some hardcore theory behind it. It's just association. So I got this scarf. I think it's Uralan Elista. It used to be a football club that died as well because of financial troubles. They didn't get support from the Russian government anymore. I think that was the story. And I got this from someone who I met on a research trip that I did for the Krasnoyarsk Biennale, and with a good friend, my sister from another Mr. Jasmin Fischer, actually. She's an artist. And we went to Kalmykia. It's a region in Russia, in West Russia, Southwest. The only Buddhist nation in what's still called Europe, kind of. And I met this local guy, and we talked a lot about music and had interest. I mean, if you go there, there's not so many people, but grindcore is everywhere, and the music genre grindcore just, it's love, and everyone loves grindcore, and everyone has to love grindcore, and you have immediately a really nice discussion. And he wanted to give me a present, so I gave him a book that I made, and he gave me the scarf and told me then all the stories, how he went to the stadium. So it's really filled with a lot of stories that it was really beautiful. So that's for me, then it's also became a memorial for for a football club from a certain period only, because I think now they have just slightly different name, but kind of the same thing. But for this period, this thing is dead. Another nice object, this is called, I think, bog iron. It's some stone where there's some oxidation going on. And here was, I don't know what it was, if it was a phone or something. This I got officially as a memorial piece from an event last year in November or December here in Amsterdam, organized by an organization. It's called the Ambassador of the North Sea. And the event was called a memorial service for the era of the Holocene, because now we live in the Anthropocene. And this stone is, oh no, I missed the English word, I only have the Dutch one. But okay, this is Kenmerk, and this is really typical for the period for them of the Holocene. So we had also a little shamanistic ritual in there. The last thoughts that you have of the Holocene, you can just blow them into, and now it's stuck in there, and the memories are settled, set in stone. These objects can be a memorial by themselves, but as I mentioned earlier, I always got nice gory shirts from my uncle. So my whole life I liked shirts with some skull on it, or I mean, like the coffee mug, this has a skull, this jacket has it's a rib cage. It's a bit of overkill of death maybe, but somehow I really enjoy it. So the other thing is that I like shirts of band shirts. So I don't know if anyone knows this band, old death metal band, Death. This is really nice. What I love about this one, that to me also makes it kind of a memorial shirt, because I'm a designer, so you also deal with some kind of logos and typography. And this logo is written by Chuck Schuldiner, who was guitarist and singer of the band. And that's the first logo that he designed. So I think this went off. This was a bit tinier, and I think the spider web is in the new logo. It's a bit, they cleaned it out a bit. But I'm really happy that I have this shirt. It's a ripoff. It's not an original one, but I bought it. It's even on the back. So because he made this logo and a connection, that is to me also nice memorial shirts. Death metal. I like the aesthetics of black metal shirts, the logos and everything. The band is also really nice. Another connection with Lenka, we went to a concert by the band Uniform. The logo has a skiff on it and a cross. Now everyone sees that. But these aesthetics are really loved. Plus, when they go for printing on the sleeves, I love that a lot. So this one is by a Japanese violent magic orchestra. It's kind of an ode to a lot of black metal bands. It's really up. It's from now. They're really with a lot of power electronics in it. It's really, really beautiful. So that's why I thought I also want to make a shirt that connects this death thing and have this aesthetic for somehow. So that's why I made, wait for it, my own shirt, the first one. Jacket doesn't work. As a memorial piece for this glacier. Oh, wait, let me show this. The glacier. So I don't know if anyone has heard about the story that Iceland held the funeral for the glacier last year in the summer. Merkel went there as well. Props for that. Oh, you have to see how. So memorial shirts, what I like about it is when I was reading this book, Virtual Afterlives, Grieving the Dead in the 21st Century, talks about new ways of memorials, and one chapter is about wearing the dead. So dead wearables, you had this before as well, when you can maybe have some hair, wait, don't see, some hair of someone or something else that you can just wear and keep with you. But one part is the memorial shirt, because you can show that you're grieving, and then how she mentions it is that death can enter the discussion of daily life, because just in the Western world, I don't, at least here, and she's from the US, apparently there it was as well, that death kind of disappears, so no one really talks about it anymore. And this shirt brings it back to life, and it has a discussion. memorial shirts have their origin in gang culture and hip hop culture. They're also beautiful shirts, self-made, and what I found then interesting is what can we, if we use it in daily life, and now a bit more like the climate change discussion, or found out or something, that it can add the discussion and let death enter the discussion, not only about humans. So that's why this thing, I think the whole conversation about climate change, I had it a lot. People don't like the word death when you wear it somehow. I mean, here at the station, at least, I didn't find it. They didn't find it really nice, but you can spark a discussion wearing a memorial shirt, which I really like. And then it can go further than Alain, than only, sorry, I switched to Dutch all the time, than only about your own loss, small loss, but more like to look into the future or live a bit a better life, like the medieval dance of death thing that I just mentioned. That's why I love memorial shirts. And there will be, I've been working now on a whole series of different memorial shirts. Memorial shirts have an image. This was the most spread image around the internet. It's this sliding tool that you can have. So 1986, I think they started measuring the mountain. So this was the glacier. This is mirrored. Then you could slide it and see this is left of the glacier. And then it was not moving ice anymore. And then this is how they declared it dead. And that's a bit my introduction, way longer than I planned. With this workshop, I just figured out 2 days ago, actually, I think when I sent the mail yesterday, day before yesterday, that we can maybe have an afterlife of this workshop to maybe develop a mass memorial shirt with all different kinds of ideas that you have, that we can then, I don't know, make a prototype or produce it somewhere, some kind of print on demand, that there's a file that people can download and print it. And I don't know, it's up to discussion, but that was a bit the plan of this workshop. But if it's only you want an object and talk about it, this is also fine. This is the core of the workshop, and then the shirt can be the afterlife. Yeah, so that's me. There any question or?
Everyone is muted, so if you want to speak, then turn on your sound.
Okay, should we do then introduction round? If there's no question left. You can also ask later.
It was nice. It was nice. Like, thank you for the introduction. It was really nice.
Thank you. Oh yeah, I do these movements because I have as I said, my laptop in front of this bigger screen, and the tools are hidden behind it. So sometimes I have to click. Okay. Who wants to go first with a short introduction? And the idea, and then we can, based on your ideas, we can mingle the groups a bit topic-wise.
I can go first if everyone's okay with that. My name is Perry. I'm from Seattle, Washington. I heard about this whole event from Uroboros from the Speculative Futures Slack channel. A bit about my background. I'm 23 years old. I just graduated from university here last year. And I'm a freelance designer. So I do websites, logos, graphic design, etc. And what I studied was actually human-centered design and engineering at University of Washington. So I was thinking about what my memorial for objects would be. I'm thinking about doing one for a home, like somewhere you lived. So.
Cool. Sounds great. Thanks. Who wants to go next?
I can go next. Everybody's okay with that. Alejandra, I'm Mexican, but I'm now studying critical design and speculative design in Split. So maybe you saw yesterday a speculative EDU conference. So they are friends with Uroboros. So I'm studying here that in Split in Croatia. So currently I'm working with memory, like cultural memory, collective memory, collective identity, and this intersection between Croatian identity and Mexican identity in the Adriatic coast. And I really like your subject because this death subject is very connected with Mexican culture and with Mexican national identity because of the Day of the Dead and all these traditional things. But I think it's really connected. It's an international topic. This exploded in Mexico because of some international national identity interest. I don't know. So I have two ideas for this workshop, and one is about one dead volcano in Mexico, and the other one is some shells that are already dying here around on the Atlantic coast. And I also have some examples of the representation of death in Mexican art.
Oh, nice.
That I can show you later. Yep.
Yeah, great. Yeah, that volcano sounded really interesting. And what so, okay, maybe for the background, I got you sent me the mail yesterday, so I could already have a short look. Really, really nice. But was it, did I understand it correctly that the small volcano died because of an eruption of the bigger one?
No, it burns because of the eruption of this bigger volcano, which is
okay.
So then burns because of this explosion, and it dies eventually because it was just a host from the explosion, and they call it the smallest volcano in the world because it's really cute and small. And that's all.
Nice.
Okay.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Wants to go next?
Okay, I could be the next one. I'm Branjo from Bratislava. I'm sometime in praxis already after school, and I am designer of Slovak National Gallery, but I'm also doing lots of independent design projects, also Cultural Center Nová Cvernovka in Bratislava. And I have interest in that and in memorial stuff. I already did it with few projects. Some of them were the memory of dead buildings, so to say. Because in the Slovakia, there is specific that we don't value our cultural heritage sometimes very much. And there are a lot of interested buildings destroyed and are being destroyed to make place for some new developments. I also participate on book projects that catch some of these buildings in the memory somehow. So this is also one of my proposals or themes what I would like to think about, how to represent building in different way, like a piece of brick or something what is like traditional, some informal way. And another actual topic connected with climate change is the death of the spring in the Central Europe. So these are the possibilities what I would like to explore more, maybe if there will be the opportunity.
A good one.
Really nice. Also the buildings is also really interesting actually. Both. So we can see, so you got already kind of two groups now. One is more home and buildings, the other one really nature, climate change. I can see how we mingle this in a bit. We can maybe also do, because now you already have two ideas. If you make shorter sessions in the breakout rooms that they can also rotate, you can also see it. There's one building home group, then we can rotate to the nature group, and then you can try this as well. Cool, thanks.
I would like to go next because I have something similar of an idea. My name is Jakub. I'm based in Berlin, and I'm an artist and technologist sometimes. And my idea is around a specific plot of land in East London that is close to Tottenham. And it's basically this empty field. It's one of the few sites in the area that has remained basically as a complete brownfield for many decades after the rest of the city is being rebuilt. And it's quite a famous place for the locals because it's, it used to be a very common place for raves, and also it's a kind of refuge for traveling communities in the area. And it's very iconic because it's basically right next to a huge IKEA, and there's these huge warehouses everywhere, which, you know, it's just really bizarre that you're like, you know, the sun comes up at 7 a.m. and then you look around and there's a huge IKEA right next to you. And the thing is, what's happening now is the land has been bought by a developer, and first thing they did is they put on a huge kind of bougie city festival field day at this place, and they turned the warehouses into like stages. And I mean, yeah, I wasn't there, I didn't want to be there. And then they're planning to turn it into basically a huge luxury apartment area, which is very common in Europe. But I think this idea is interesting to me because, first of all, the place doesn't go away, it's still there. So it's a death of something that's kind of still there, but it's completely different. And also the fact that it's what makes the place what it is the emptiness or the lack of stuff. You know, it's basically just a field with grass. So I'd like to investigate how to represent that.
Yeah, really nice. There's several deaths in it, actually. Yeah, nice. So you also then connect to the building and home thing, huh? That was yeah cool. Great. Who wants to go next? Yeah.
Hello, so I'm Karin. I'm from Bratislava, currently living in Berlin. I studied artificial intelligence and I work as a programmer. So not really art related, but we had a presentation and workshop with Jakub as Hermetechnics on the festival. So a reason why I'm on this workshop is because for years I'm trying to read through the Tibetan Book of Death and I never managed. So it's kind of ongoing mission. And I've got two, let's say, classes of ideas. One of them are I'm a big fan of space missions and what's going on with space travel. And I was live watching how the Cassini was plunging into the Saturn, and how the 20-year-old mission was basically ending in the crashing of the probe into the atmosphere. And that was pretty emotional for me. And I've got some screenshots from the live stream, and I was watching it with my friends, and that was a big happening. Also, the Philae from the Rosetta mission ended up in a similar way, just resting on the comet till the end of times. And the other class of ideas is bringing me back to Bratislava, exactly as Branislav said, that a lot of things are disappearing there and a lot of things are changing. When I was a teenager, I had a big collections of writings on the walls, like tags to someone like drunk written somewhere, really just plain text, really simple, mostly in Slovak writings. And this was one very special. I was like passing underneath it every day to my like school and to my nursery school. And like it was always, you know, up on the bridge. And it was saying Bratislavská krutosť, which is like cruelty of Bratislava. And then one point they wiped it out and they during the reconstruction of the bridge. And I was ever since planning to go there at night and put the writing back, but I did not manage to do the reconstruction work there. But I've got still a big collection of these things, and most of them already disappeared, as it's like 10 or 15 years since I've been collecting them. And they were kind of part of this visual identity of Bratislava, you know, like you're passing every day, just right to vegan jihad or like fucking cold or all of these writings, and they are kind of part of your home, and they are all gone when I was last time there. So that made me kind of sad. So I would like to work on one of these two ideas.
Yeah, both are really nice and yeah, beautiful. The text one is also funny. Great. Okay, who wants to go follow?
Hi, I'm Arthur, and I'm an artist, also from the artist group Tools for Action, and we make inflatables for actions, political actions, and lately also for related to memory culture. remembering a revolution in Germany, 1918. Since then, I got really interested in memory culture. While thinking about this workshop, I don't have a really specific idea yet, but thinking about the non-living entity, I was just thinking like how objects can be animated. So are being alive, they have like their own agency, and then they die again. So for me, that is also related to every action with inflatables when they got destroyed, like channels a lot of energy of people and then it gets destroyed. So that is always some kind of cycle and ritual, just generally thinking. And then I thought, well, what do I want to remember? And then I said, well, just now hearing all these examples, what about the death of the old normal since the pandemic, COVID-19? Basically, we are entering a new phase. This old phase died. That is actually, we could do a memorial service about it. That's also the reason why I'm interested in this workshop or in memory culture, as we have this fast accelerating world because of climate change. So we, just to have a grip on our accelerating world, yeah, we need to cultivate this whole memory cultures and different forms of memory culture. So I'm interested in Stefan's workshop.
Yeah, sounds great. Also, no, both are nice. I mean, even if you have inflatables, and I think if they get the, I don't know, what do you actually, what's in it? Air? It's not, but it's kind of if they have a last breath.
Yeah, it's
somehow that's really nice. Nice. I mean, a last breath is never something nice, but
yeah,
somehow it is.
Yeah, I can. Yeah. The first time I experienced it was in a demonstration where protesters unleashed a big advertisement balloon, and then they started running with it, just how the wind got hold of it and just choreographed by the wind. Mm-hmm. And then it got destroyed, but just this whole channeling of energy, that was something that inspired me. And yeah. So.
Yeah, great. Yeah, very nice. Are we 2 more to go? I think 3. Who's next?
Hi, my name is Bastien. I'm a French designer, interaction designer. As a background, I'm working a lot with design fiction and speculative design. I've co-founded a studio 5 years ago, working on this with clients project and self-commissioned project. And the theme of the workshop is really interesting, and it kind of connects with a project we have been running for 2 years now called Data Funerals, which is creating speculative rituals for data-driven services and objects. So that might be one thing I can be interesting as a non-living being, is data and objects related to data. But I also like the idea of this old norm.
Oh, you're frozen. Old normal, I think, huh? Or is it only frozen at my screen?
No, also with me.
Oh, okay.
Did you lose me?
Yeah, now you're back.
Okay.
Yeah. The old normal, yeah? Yeah.
So that's it for me.
Yeah. Data death is also nice. When we did the digital death, we were also thinking of what could be really the hardcore data death, the ultimate one. Couldn't come up with anything.
If I can jump in, I like this idea with the data, because I'm interested in AI generated audiovisual media, so synthetic media, and when I'm working with them, I realized there are many processes or a lot of stuff dying because of that, maybe in the future. So just one idea that I had now in my head is, for example, we can expect a death of stock photos, because when we can generate our own synthetic nature or synthetic landscape or synthetic whatever kind of scenery, then there is no need for these images to be just there somewhere in the database. So just when you were talking about the data, I had to think of this.
Mathis has such a nice stock photo as background.
Yeah, and then also when I saw Shutterstock, made me remind of that.
Also great, either the data or the old normal that you can team up, or let's see. Thanks. Oh, is there something switched here? Okay, who's next?
I can go next. Hi, Arthur. Hi. I'm Hui Ying. I'm based in Singapore. And I'm a researcher, practitioner. So I work a lot with questions of food and agriculture, specifically the question of agroecological futures. Trying to think about how we think of the future, and how that relates to memory is interesting, but also to the idea of mourning and death. And I must say, this is a really difficult topic for me. Also because I'm sort of in mourning at present for a few things, like people, and very recent in the past week. But also in mourning for the planet itself. And it's not something that is that I know how to treat with like a sense of, just at a distance. It's very present for me. So I'm trying to figure out how that sits with like the ways we're looking at death here, because it yeah, I mean, how do we approach it, and how close is it, how visceral is it? So one of the ideas I have is to like make it simple, to think about the taste of apples. Taste changes so much and so easily, right? Especially if your taste palette has never tasted something that used to be grown in the past. So for instance, many people in cities who may not have access to heritage kind of fruits may only receive things that are grown in industrial places, and you get like that one kind of banana or that one kind of apple. So that's already a kind of memorializing. But I guess the bigger question that I have when I'm looking at fruits today is how much of this will we have in the next 10 years? And I guess the pandemic is really accentuating that thought. It's not fear, it's a sense of preciousness. And yeah, so the apple is one example. The day is another example. The weather is another example.
What was the second?
The day, like how the day, the sun coming up and the sun going down, a certain image of the clouds. Yeah, the weather is another example. So that's what I'm trying to figure out, and yeah, to see how that sits with other things. I am interested in some of the other things people have mentioned. I find the idea of saying goodbye to the old normal interesting as well. Yeah.
Yeah, really interesting thought, the death of the taste of apples. Really nice.
Related to this, I read somewhere recently an article that most of the tomatoes, which are now like propagated in the agriculture production, they are missing a protein which is responsible for the actual proper taste of tomatoes. So the actual taste of what we are used to from our grandma's gardens or somewhere, that's just, you can't really buy that in a shop at all. So maybe I'm gonna give a moment for the memory of good tomatoes.
The good tomato taste, yeah, that's true, because see, everything is so watery that it's tasteless actually.
And its whole genetic lineage as well, which is like the saddest part of it.
Yeah. Okay, great. Who goes next? Yeah.
Hi, I'm Tina. I'm a designer currently in Berlin, and I did my master in Sweden on a topic, the relationship between trees and humans in Jakarta. And from this research, I also found it's a lot related to death, because there a lot of trees are killed, and on the other side, a lot of trees kill people. So people are a bit afraid of them, also because many people believe there are ghosts living in them. And I have a lot of stories of certain ghosts living in certain trees and what they are doing and behaving. And yeah, so one of my topics would be trees or forests, but then I thought actually they are not non-living, they are living. So maybe this is not okay, I don't know.
It's,
And
I'm not too strict. It's also a nice idea. It can also be trees, or yeah, I don't know. Is the wood really defined as being alive? Yeah, I don't know. You can just totally do it. We actually have an intern now. He started also researching on this. This is really nice. He had made a scarf and shirts about das große Waldsterben, because in Germany there's a lot of woods are just dying. So the big forest death or something. Really nice.
So this
it is totally human uncentered. So you can also tackle it from that, or approach it from this perspective then.
Okay, and if this would not be okay, I thought of Jakarta itself, the city, as it is sinking and also disappearing and dying. And yeah, that's my two options.
Great. The Jakarta would also fit the home and buildings and Bratislava street writings, I think. Okay, thanks. Got one more, I think. He's eating now?
Hi.
Hi.
Late.
Totally fine.
Oh, I'm calling from Singapore. I work a lot with Wayne. We have a collective as well. But I mostly do a lot of urban farming work in Singapore. So I think there are a lot of things I feel lately, but the persistent feeling that perhaps relates to what Tina talks about is I think in many cities, especially in Asia, we have gone through this period of rapid development where the land has been literally ripped and changed, right? The soil changed, the landscapes are no longer the same. So I wanted to maybe spend time properly sort of grieving for the land and the landscapes and the soundscapes and the inhabitants of, particular to Singapore and the tropics. There would be the tropical rainforest and the mangroves that form much of Singapore's landscape in the past. And today I can see remnants of it, but it gives clues to what used to be, but it's definitely no longer the same.
Yeah.
As well. Yeah.
Landscape could also fit when what is it? Is it an architecture group? Buildings, home, and cities?
Yeah.
Fit this nicely as well. Yeah. Okay, thanks. I'm really not strict in the time, I see. We're running a bit late, but okay, no, fuck it. Do you guys, okay, how can we do this with these rooms? I said it would be groups of 3, but actually I think if we decide on, there was home, dead buildings, Bratislava writings, if you go for it, this empty field in London, and the death of the landscape and scenery, this is already 5. Can we still manage this?
And we had the
we
had the death of the old normal.
Oh yeah, no, this is would be one group. The old normal would be a second group. No, just because before we started, I said maybe it's just group of 3, I think. But actually, if it's 5 with the same topic, then we should just do 5. Just to know if it's easy to add more people to it.
Hello, here is a Zoom master, and I want just to inform you that we are 10 participants to be divided. So Stefan, it's up to you how we will divide them.
Okay, great. Who is the building group? If you can hold your hand up for this, then we can maybe add you in one group, in one room. Is it only 3 left?
So it's Jakub, Karin, and Harry.
Maybe, but I can migrate also to an environment group or old normal if it's
your choice. Mitch, were you also in this with the landscape? Yeah, right?
Okay, sorry.
Oh, so
So I'm assigning Karin, Jakub, Harry, Mitch, but it's already 4 people. Is it okay, Stefan?
yeah, sure. No, that was my question because I said 3, but now we are more. That's just easy to change.
So
yeah.
breakout room 1, there are 4 people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm adding a second breakout room. So what's the topic of the second room?
Second is, what was said? Death of the old normal. Who joins that?
So it's Artur, it's Bastian, and that's pretty it. Yeah, 2 people.
Is it only 2? Oh no, 3. Third one.
Who was the second? Who was the third? I have Artur and Bastian.
Ujing.
Yeah.
Ah, okay, sorry. Okay, so
And then we have the climate change related, no?
Yeah. So
or nature related.
Yes, this
Oh,
group
wait,
will live
so
in the main.
Then that would be more me, I guess. Okay, I don't know. I need to know what options there are first. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, I could have said that. So we got home or architecture, then maybe more nature, and then the last one, the old normal. That's the 3 that came now.
Okay, so the last group I will remain in the session meeting because we are streaming and we should leave some visual content as well. And is there anybody who wants to migrate between the rooms? So I can give you a co-host role also.
My idea of the old normal, it's the dying of the old normal. I would also like to hear the discussion of the climate change group, because I think it's just related. Maybe it's not in opposition or something.
Okay, no problem, Arthur. I did you co-host role, so you can walk through the breakout rooms after I will open them. Okay, anybody who wants to migrate between the rooms?
I'm interested in the landscape group as well.
It was the first group.
Yes.
Okay, I will try to add you there. So I will open the rooms and then I can add you, because now I don't see any options to add you. Just a final suggestion, don't forget to join the rooms. You need to confirm it in the Zoom. Yeah, I'm opening rooms now.
Where do I see it?
Okay.
Okay, so we are left in the main room. Okay.
Would it add me somewhere automatically, or should I click on something?
You don't need to do anything because you are part of the main room.
Yes. So
we are leaving some people here because then there would be no one on the live stream. But you are a co-host now, so you can also migrate to other rooms, or you should be able to.
Yes, that was the intention, that Branyo can migrate if you want to.
And how can he do that?
Yeah, that was my question too.
Okay, sorry. Basically, on the bottom line, where you have a share screen, you have also breakout rooms. If you open them, then basically choose the room number 1 or 2 and join them.
I don't see it.
I don't see that either.
Yes, there is nothing there.
try to press Alt key. Is there any option appearing?
No.
Breakout rooms. Because for me it's difficult to imagine how your screen look like. I can just
because you're a host. Then make me a host for a while, and then you will be a co-host, and maybe try to figure it out.
But it should be where shared screen and chat and everything is, right?
Okay.
That bar. Yeah. No.
Lukáš, let me know when you want to be host again.
Okay, thank you.
Is that okay? Should we just continue? Start?
Start talking and we will figure this out.
Okay, great. So the nature group. Do you have? Do you elaborate a bit more on your ideas that we can talk about them? And then, oh wait, I should say a time. Huh? Maybe we should agree on a time for some kind of final presentations. Are we really strict at 5?
More or less, yes.
Okay.
Maybe we can take 5 more minutes, but then there is another workshop starting.
Okay. No, then we do. Yeah, let's
10 minutes max. Then.
Yeah, let's say then. What is it? 4:30 that we meet up here again and discuss results. Results. What we came up with in the discussions.
But you know, now the other guys
they have to get to know somehow, yeah.
So then you have to repeat that when you.
Yeah. Are you guys quickly in working and making or writing, or do you have any plan? Do you want to visualize things, or do you just feel like actually a talk, or you want to scribble a bit while you explain your ideas that we gather the results, or? Are you working? Yeah, you are in front of a computer, of course, but
maybe we can sketch something to have at least some basic material or substance to work with.
Yeah,
I'm sketching already during the speeches.
Oh, great. Yeah. And how about you two?
I think I also prefer sketching than writing to begin with.
Yeah.
But how are we gonna do that? Like on paper?
Oh, that's totally up to you, actually. If you prefer to, paper is easy because you can hold it in the camera, but you can also share a screen here. If you prefer to draw digitally, then you can, when you show it, you can just easily share your screen if you want.
Yeah, I would like to go with sharing a screen. I think it's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
So sketches we want to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we meet. Oh yeah, you are already here as well in this room. Let's say half an hour, and then let's see what we all get there. Can I get to the other rooms actually? Because then I just tell them the same. I think I haven't said that. Sorry? Oh, Lenka, you're muted, I think.
Shit, sorry. Until we solve the problem, I will make Lukáš a host, and he can assign you to another room.
Okay, yeah. Otherwise, I can in one group I can send Arthur a text message because we collaborated on a project this year. But the third group would still be a thing. But yeah.
Okay, so who wants to migrate between the rooms? Hands up. Stefan?
I do, yeah, because I just want to tell that everyone can start sketching now.
Okay, so I will assign you to breakout room 1, and then I will, if you are not coming back for a longer time, I will come there and check out, and then I will assign you. But you should, because you're a co-host, so you should be able to go out, yeah?
Yeah.
So, bye-bye, Stefan. I will do the same thing.
Is it clear to you that you just start sketching, all right? Then
yes, like everybody about their own project, or we should pick everybody.
you can also just discuss. I mean, we are set up in this space together, so you can sketch. You can also discuss your work and go on. So that's a bit the idea. And I try to jump in between a bit more often if you want to discuss things.
Okay, so we wanna do sketches about the 3 of us projects, or we wanna focus on only one?
It's totally up to you, but I think maybe if it's only half an hour, it can maybe, yeah, it's really short.
Okay.
Maybe let's try find some crossing between topics or something, some common ground. Or
yeah, so everyone knows a bit what your idea is. So yeah.
I had this idea with this death of the spring. What is pretty much data thing, because it's about temperature was is continuously growing. Of course, that everyone knows. And
I join the other room. See you in a bit.
And it's hard to say that the spring is actually dead, because it's not some solid point in time. It depends, and it's some like continuous graph, and in one point we can say that we don't know the spring as we used to know before. So that was my idea. It's hard to say when the death occurs, but we all know that change or shift is happening.
But is it a death of spring only, or isn't it a death of 4 seasons? Like this concept of 4 seasons.
Yes, the concept of 4 seasons is nice. This is better, maybe better name for it.
Yeah, and also because 4 seasons, they are only in Europe. Like in Indonesia, they don't have 4 seasons. Like they have 2. Like it's only on this context now. So on this part,
I was aware of that. That's why it's Central European thing, maybe. But do you see some changes in weather? Because I don't know, it affects the Earth like not in the not same intensity on all spots.
Also change in Indonesia. I mean, you only have 2 seasons, wet season and dry season, but they get totally mixed up, and there's no, you don't really know when it's gonna start and when it's gonna end, and it's all messed up.
Yes.
Then maybe really general, like change of all seasons, or that of weather patterns, that of known weather patterns. That should work for globally.
And I think that of this knowledge, when you can predict, like for example in agriculture, no, like you say, like, okay, this is the season for the seeds, and then in the next month we're gonna pick all the fruits, and now it's not, you cannot predict that, no? So knowledge is also dying.
Something like that of the old good weather, or whatever it is, or weather habits, or
comprehension. How is that comprehension?
Comprehension
of the weather, or of how we can predict how the weather is gonna be on every season.
Or weather comfort, or some feeling, what do we have from it? Maybe it's too abstract. Maybe another thing will be easier to grasp, or I don't know.
Or maybe death of weather proverbs. So these sayings.
Yes.
I don't know what's the right term for it.
I like that. I think it's a good idea. I think it's not very abstract. I think it's very practical and real.
Do you think it exists in? I guess right in every culture. These weather proverbs, or like.
Now I can remember one Mexican proverb about weather. So maybe we can choose one proverb from each of all cultures, and we can do something about that. Like one Mexican, it says like February crazy and April a little bit more.
Yeah, we also have
March.
This saying about crazy weather in April.
It comes to my mind one Slovak proverb that the drop of medard will rain for 40 days. In this drought season, what we are living right now in Slovakia, seems like it won't happen this year, but we have plenty, I guess.
And I'm also thinking there's like this 100-year calendar that predicts like the years repeat like what has been 100 years ago. Do you have that too?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But I think we can go for that idea to do some sketches about this for proverbs. Like
I'm very happy about it. It's very nice and it's manageable in the short time, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's say to Stefan. Stefan, you are muted.
Why?
I don't know. Maybe that happens when you come back to the room.
But my phone, built-in microphone, no.
But now we hear you.
Ah, okay.
Because when you entered the room, maybe that muted you. So we were talking about the death of spring, and then we realized it's not global, and then we got through that of weather seasons or weather patterns to actually simplifying it to that of weather proverbs. I don't know if that's the best term, but because that's probably what's all cultures.
Yeah.
And would be also easy to do in a short time.
Yeah. No, really nice. Really good idea. Definitely weather proverbs.
And it's definitely non-living, although it's about nature.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, language dies a lot too.
It's actually that of some type of knowledge about weather, because it was the knowledge or some data stored in very condensed form, but it's not fitting right now.
Yeah.
But it went on for hundreds of years, and now they are like not useful anymore.
Yeah, the weather wisdoms. Yeah.
Yeah, then we think like since we are from different backgrounds, from different cultures, like a pick one Mexican proverb, one proverb from Slovakia, and then choose just 4 of them.
Yeah, really nice.
I'm just realizing that those proverbs also symbolize a death of all the knowledge of our ancestors that they passed to our generation. It's like useless. And it's very sad when you realize because they were figuring these things out in a hard way. So when they didn't, when they were planting wheat or whatever, if they messed up, then they died of hunger. So it was very harsh experience. They passed it on to us, and now it's useless.
Yes, the death of this collective knowledge and memory, no?
Yeah.
Something like weather scripts. If we will write the software on weather, it was something between some proverb and some instruction for agriculture sometimes. That we had something like the cold April, wet May, there will be a lot of weeds or how to say.
Yeah.
And of course, nothing like this happens anymore. So should we produce some results? Or I guess we should.
Sounds good, yeah.
Maybe we can write down some of the stuff.
Maybe, let's collect these proverbs. But I'm also interested in talking about how could a memorial for a proverb look like.
Now we are all together, no?
We're all here.
Yeah, we got thrown back.
Yes.
Is that on
purpose?
Yeah, the breakout rooms were set it on 15 minutes. If you need more, I can send you back.
Oh, yeah, true. We set this in between as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Should I send you back to the rooms?
Yeah, maybe till 4:35, because then we had really half an hour for everyone.
So this should be for half an hour now. Yeah, I will set it for
25 minutes. Yeah.
25 minutes. Okay. So I'm sending you to breakout rooms. 25 minutes. Bye bye.
Was a nice reunion.
Yes.
It's funny, this experience.
Yeah.
Okay.
Multidimensional maze.
So yeah, like what kind of memorial design or object or material or could be assigned to as a memorial for a proverb?
One thing is sure, we have to have it written somewhere to know what we are doing.
We can use the chat here
Yeah, I got the chat.
I think if we chat here, then others don't see it when they are in their breakout rooms. So you can maybe.
You wanna make a test, like a test?
Yeah. Well, but how do we know if others don't see it or don't? But it should be just us.
Okay. So we're gonna focus now in only this one project, or we're gonna bring also the idea of the volcano or the idea of the trees, or only about the seasons? I didn't get it.
I don't know, Stefan.
It's I mean, it's up to you, I think. If you think you want to still implement the volcano, you can do this. If you're with, I mean, depending on how you frame your what you brought today as a thought, it's such a nice idea. So you can do a memorial for the volcano. But if through the discussion you come to the point that actually we end up in weather wisdom, then you can also just work on that.
Yeah, to me it's okay to work like in one single project, all of us. Nice.
For me too.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, great.
I just realized there are so many proverbs, like nearly for every day.
So I'm just gonna type my proverb, Mexican proverb. And also, no. There is also one thing in Mexico that they call canicula. I think in January, the first days of the first week, the first 12 days of every year represent each month of the year. So this is with the first 12 days of every year, people can predict the weather of the entire year. So if the 1st of January is cold, then the entire January is gonna be cold. If it's raining on the 7th day, then in the 7th month it's gonna be rainy. And this, it's called canicula, and maybe canicola also gonna die with this. It's dying with this.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Sounds like it. It's just like a thumbnail.
Sounds like what?
A thumbnail. So first you got the small preview, and then, but it's actually, it shows you already the bigger thing the whole year.
Yeah, that's cute. So I post the name is canicula. We're gonna use it.
Are you sketching? Each of you want to sketch, or you don't have one thing as a group in the end? That's maybe good to have clear. Or do you want to split tasks? That someone's doing visual or words, or?
I guess it could be nice to make something together because we have, I guess, quite compatible stuff. So maybe we can assemble it via something connected, or more national proverbs.
Yeah.
Place or one something.
And do you have spontaneously any medium in your mind? What could it be? I mean, it's the weather. It can. Is it an umbrella? Is it, I don't know, is it sunglasses? Is there any medium you could think of spontaneously?
I think umbrella sounds interesting somehow as we're experiencing a drought. And then I checked today, what day is today, and it's like the day of John of Nepomuk. And the proverb also says about rain today.
Or maybe the aesthetics of the proverbs, like those paper of proverbs. I don't know, like the aesthetics of Asian proverbs we can use maybe.
There is like in vocal tradition, so they were also time to time written in some book, but I guess it's only physical appearance as this type of content had. So it was quite immaterial stuff, just the information. But umbrella sounds nice, but it could be something what is related to weather somehow, or maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
This is the oldest European calendar.
We found one calendar of the old European weather calendar, and the aesthetics is really pretty. I think I will share it with you because it's really pretty. I'm gonna find it. It's like a seasonal calendar, European seasonal calendar. Proviest.net. Proviest. Oh no.
I will send you the.
Okay. Just give me a second. Yeah.
I just have one suggestion. If that helps, this collaborative effort, maybe we can also set up a shared Google document or. Google has also not only Google document for typing, but there is also Google Drive, a draw for drawing. But or also here in Zoom is a whiteboard option. But I'm not sure if we can collaboratively draw in there. So maybe the Google Doc is nice. Should I
was the link somewhere to the calendar also? Have you sent it?
I think she's searching.
Okay.
Yeah, it's here already.
Yeah.
Write them what's first.
It is on the page 11.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's nice thing.
Yeah.
The aesthetics is nice. It's Croatian.
I can try it.
Really nice.
Oh.
Now, somehow the square top left looks like the coronavirus.
Yeah.
It's actually it's a sign.
Maybe it's all the dark stuff in the grid afterwards also, but it's spread already across the table. Okay, so we have some proverbs like in some text forum and this aesthetics, for example, and we should materialize it in some one point or one group of something or something central, or it should not be central. But as I understood the workshop, we need to do something what is like object or
well, yeah, sketching an object. I mean, it's really short, even shorter because I talked too much in the beginning. Somehow, yeah. Yes, you can sketch it. That's what I mean. Or describe an idea as well, or indeed the Google, what was it, Google Draw?
I'm just setting it up, so give me 1 minute and
Along with Umbrella, I had idea of the dragon, child dragon, what a child are, I don't know how to translate it, it's a good word for it, but it's what our children use in our country in autumn, like these flying paper dragons.
Oh,
paper
yeah, a kite.
Yeah, true.
So,
is it
another suggestion?
Kite?
Yeah.
Kite. Yes,
kite. Yeah, the kite, yeah.
Definitely kite.
Yeah. It can also be nice. I mean, this aesthetics from the calendar on a kite, for example, then you have really easily, immediately, these two things brought together.
do you see the link to Google Drawing shared?
Yeah.
I think it could be nice because you can also use the type tool there and insert an image and draw. So maybe that's nice. And I can actually share screen so people on YouTube can watch us sketching.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, so according to the calendar, there is 4 rows. So each row is 1 season, starting with the second one is spring. No, the first one is spring. The first one is spring.
The second
then
one is summer.
Lieto.
Yes.
And Lieto is summer.
Lieto, yes.
Lieto. Yes, Sima.
Yes.
And the small corona, it's sunset is sun. So.
Stefan, do you want to go to other rooms to check?
Yeah.
Lukas?
I will see. I saw the thing now. I could jump.
Yes, I'm here.
Stefan would like to go to other rooms, and I'm not sure if you've been to all the rooms before. So
I've been to every room. I could jump, but now I don't see.
Yeah. Stefan can jump independently.
Okay.
Yes, I could. Now I don't see any option.
Okay.
Oh, now I do it. Okay, that was strange. It switched to Chrome instead of Zoom.
Can you see on the page 11, like there is this small bowl, like it's like for drinking water or something like that?
Like a vase.
Like a vase?
Yeah.
So the idea is like this calendar, it was in the daily life objects. To
So
know.
you have it present all the time? Or is it some precious object that you're...
It was
No, not precious. It was just to have in present this the seasons, and the first line outside of the calendar, like a sun and those are all stars. So those are the stars appearing on the seasons. So I think it's very interesting that this is like on the daily life objects, and this can be also this object can be part of or a sketch in some way, maybe, or part of the t-shirt, or yep.
I mean, it is that object.
It is.
And this very colorful kite I put there, I think it's from Guatemala to communicate with deaf people. Am I right?
I'm not sure, but looks like Guatemala. Yes, but I don't know what that this means. But yes, it's very nice.
Okay, so we assembled everything what we have till now, or it seems like this. So maybe it's a nice thing. Maybe we don't have all the proverbs here still. Some were left in the chat, I guess. I'll try to copy and paste them there.
Do we want to focus on one season or 1 month or something to break it down? Because there's so many proverbs.
Okay, so what about the current month, like May, or
like May?
or different preferences, or it's okay?
But I'm wondering because if you want to keep it universal for the whole world, then maybe it should communicate only that of weather proverbs, or maybe it's better if we keep connected to this knowledge of our ancestors about weather that's being passed on the next generations. Yeah, no, it's then more abstract. But the thing is, if we are very specific, or maybe it's that kind of that you leave it a free space and like fill your own local proverb on this memorial for weather proverbs.
Yeah, yes, maybe let's keep it not connected to months, or just some data cloud of weather proverbs. Maybe it will be fine, like object of remembrance. So let's add them, maybe all we have, and let's try to maybe mesh it with other things somehow to make something. We would like to have this umbrella or something, and we did not solve, like, to say that it's like memorial of that things. We have like components, but we don't have interaction for now between them, maybe. And maybe that memorial stuff, how to say it, that it's already dead and we have remembered it.
But I can imagine it working with kite or umbrella or a vase. Like if a kite is a memorial object, then you take it out on the day when you want to remember this dead entity for some kind of celebration.
And it will fly or not, depending on the wind. There will be wind strong enough to make it fly. I like this about it because it's living object somehow. It depends on weather. It interacts with weather.
But then I just had to think of these inflatable, yeah, like figures that you have on some fairs, where they're pushing air from the bottom, and it makes this kind of movement.
Yeah.
I don't know which one I mean.
They are pretty nice. I know that tube figure.
So that maybe something like this principle could be connected to a kite, because if there's no wind, the kite cannot fly. So if you use artificial stream of air.
But all those things, they have like artificial air, no? Like they have a bomb.
Yeah.
Oh, it's called Sky Dancer.
We are getting message that we have last 5 minutes of this work in breakout rooms.
Yes. So
I definitely like the most that inflated figures. I'm now posting the link inside because it's connected with the human who is responsible for the change and death of weather, and it's all for weather proverbs.
That's an interesting point. Yeah.
And it will be there all the time because kite will just lie on the ground. This is also symbol, but that figure will. It will seems that one thing and another also, but that connection to human shape, I like it very much personally. I don't know what you are thinking about it.
Like also arguing with this calendar that we have, like Prodis, a calendar is like is connected with the stars. Like yes, okay, there is those 4 seasons, but this is all the year. So that's so cool.
We can print everything on that figure. Maybe that will be like totem of that weather proverbs or something.
Patterns of on the figure, or what do you mean?
But then you could actually take the signs from the calendar,
yes,
weather calendar, and put it on these figures. And it would totally look like a totem.
Yeah. That totally looks like, and it's like a totem also.
Yeah.
Connected with that.
Yeah, and that way, maybe that calendar already represents these weather patterns or weather proverbs or the whole knowledge of our ancestors.
I'm totally agree. Yeah, I like the idea of the totem.
I made totem of that weather proverbs. I like it very much.
With that, and also with those symbols now of the weather, I think it's really nice.
Yeah, nice.
It could assemble all kinds of data about weather, from charts to calendars or weather icons or proverbs. But we are doing the proverbs, so basically proverbs, but we can maybe add there some additional information too, because it's quite a huge space maybe.
I think from this moment, it's just a matter of doing it.
Yes, so we can share this with Stefan and then.
Yeah. Okay. And yeah, Stefan.
Oh, sorry, just that.
Are you listening to this idea?
No, I just cleaned my glass. Oh, haven't you seen me that I?
Yes, we see you.
Okay, yeah, but no, I had the headphone things in. Sorry. Was a totem I still heard when I was still there?
Yes.
So you see these inflatable figures. Do you see the shared screen?
Wait, no, this. Now I do. Yes.
Yes.
No, it's wait, I put you guys on the other screen, then I see both.
Yeah, more screens, more power.
Power. Yeah, so the Sky Dancer.
Yeah.
I just also said something and figured out I was muted.
Stupid. It happens to me today like 10 times.
Yeah. Okay, Sky Dancer.
Sky Dancer. Nice name. I did not know.
I only know it because Lenka, it was Simone in your class, in your graduation year?
No, one year ahead of me. So
I just heard the name from her because she tried to get this for an open day of our school.
Yes.
Yeah, and
It's not.
And then I heard patterns, and then totem. This is the last things I get. So You got the sky dancers with the calendar patterns, or
who wants to explain that I'm not talking?
Yes.
Just like use this sky dancer as a totem. So with the patterns and all those icons about the European weather or Croatian all around the totem.
Yeah.
And also the idea, because the sky dancers, they play with the weather and with the wind and.
Yeah, but what is said?
And it's really a dance of death. That's good.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And the circle is closed.
It's a full circle.
Uroboros eating its tail. But I just wanted to highlight what's really sad about this memorial is that it's dancing not because of the natural air, but because of the artificial air that needs to be pushed inside.
Yeah, it's like the machine that keeps the breathing machine.
Yeah, it's like the ventilator for. Yeah, you're right.
So we should install it in interior and put the ventilators to make it dance, like in some artificial space without the natural winds or another stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we other participants are already here, so I stop sharing screen and let others, maybe other groups, share what they did.
I guess in the break, some questions, should it be white or black? Because the colors for sadness are different in our cultures, I guess. In the Mexico, it's white, I guess.
But I guess it can be black and white.
Yes, it will be democratic and global.
Or it can be transparent.
Go for gray.
Transparent. Make it gray.
Transparent most, maybe.
Yeah.
It can even be red, green, and yeah, I mean, you can see there if you have weather cards with different heat and color, it can be actually any pattern or color or gradient. More gradients, more power. Okay, we are complete, no? Are we back?
We are all here.
Great.
So I'm curious what the other group.
Yeah, should we discuss what's the results, what's the thoughts, the final thoughts on the outcomes of these discussions, visual or textually?
Were you working? Like, okay, which group starts? Let's organize it.
What's happening there?
What happened?
It looks like a lot of fun.
I don't know what's going on at the moment, to be honest.
Is it the result of the workshop?
A performance, laughing performance.
Everybody loves
memorial.
It's catharsis after.
It's underlining the fun in funeral, yeah.
Catharsis after speaking about those ventilators also.
Okay, who wants to start? Which group?
We can start maybe. Lenka wants to explain our project.
Again?
Yes.
Okay, so then I need to share screen again, I guess. Wait a second. So, but then when I'm talking, you can complete me. So, do you all see what I'm sharing? So we assembled some images related to the death of weather patterns or death of weather proverbs, or actually in general that of the knowledge that our ancestors gathered over all these 100 years when they were figuring out how to plant and harvest and finding these weather patterns. because now, because of the climate crisis, it's not working anymore, so it's dead. And we were thinking, and then we had some objects. We had kite, we had an umbrella, we had a vase. And then we were talking about how to make it a memorial object, and we got this idea of sky dancer. Is that the name? I hope. Is this inflatable object that has this artificial air or artificially pushed air in it, and it dances, and then it reminded us a totem. And we thought of putting all the symbols from like ancient old weather calendars on the totem, and that would be a memorial for these weather patterns. Does anyone want to complete me or add anything?
There will be striked out proverbs for weather maybe. And we also came with the idea it could be transparent, and maybe just text will create the appearance of it in some artificial space, not under some artificial circumstances. It was said already, I guess. Like ventilators.
And it's dancing.
Dancing, and the dead will be dancing. Yeah, exactly.
The dance of death.
And it will be perfect that the programming of the ventilators will reflect the past weather, but it's not happening anymore. That outside of the bunker, there will be the tornado, but we will have the perfect simulation of 100-year-old weather inside.
That's nice. Yeah. So I'm going to stop sharing screen. And so it's an idea now. It just needs to be designed. Just execute it.
Okay, who's next?
I can try to do a raw synthesis for the old normal group. And Arthur and Wenying, please complete what I can try to synthesize. First, we kind of reviewed what were the pieces of the old normal that could be added to the memorial. So we listed things from pre-COVID time, such as mass tourism, cheap flights, globalized supply chain, invisibilization of workers, complacency, top-down and centralized models. And then we did try to see what could be the logic of the memorial for this old normal. One of the idea was to have a memorial that would act as an accelerator for the disappearance of these things, or at least making sure they not reappear in the post-COVID times. So because the memorial declared them dead, it's supposed to help people to grieve and to mourn that. So because you are making it already dead in a way, it's kind of performative, and it's supposed to declare it gone. And we did try to see if there was like rituals that could be added to this memorial. We talked about professional mourners for the pieces of the old normal. So you can, in a gig economy way, you can pay people to cry the disappeared pieces of the old normal. So if you want to cry or to mourn mass tourism, you can pay 100 criers for you to mourn it. We also talked about a Ouija board to contact the spirits of the old normal, just to kind of ask them why they are gone, and to remember it's a good thing they are gone in a way. Yeah, I don't know, Arthur, if you want to add other elements.
Yeah, no, just maybe I want to share this little video.
We love Nando's and KFC. And McDonald's. Chinese is closed too.
So basically, mourning also for these kind of global food chains. It could be a possibility. Yeah, Hujing, would you like to add something? And also, what is the new normal? So talked about the mutual aid solidarity networks, the importance of them, 3D maker labs, regional food supply chains, opposed to these KFCs, McDonald's. Yeah.
I think.
Sorry, just a quick question. Could you share the link to that video in the chat?
Yeah, I put it in the chat. Yeah.
Thanks.
I think we were also saying like some more effective things, right? Emotional things like complacency. And then Arthur shared about the loss of cultural life, like, you know, arts and cultural workers receiving support that might go as well. So among some of the things that we are happy to see go, there might be some things that we are sad to see go, and how we might memorialize it might be a bit different. So I actually, yeah, like the idea of mourning something that people actually really want, like the McDonald's and KFC, is interesting, because then can you insinuate or like put in ideas to people's minds by having them collectively perform a sort of mourning for something that they actually really want. But then, like, if they cry about it, will they realize that it's actually good to see it go? So
yeah, it's nice thought, because then you can, it's a death by its own memorial somehow. This is what you wish for.
Yeah, and but then also, so during the pandemic, there's this or stronger upsurge of gardening as a way of getting more grounded. Something that is also, I think, more of our times. And then Bastien said also the stress-induced baking that is very alive in France. Yeah, this kind of the daily rituals and the meditation rituals that connect with the, also with the past, or can this be also a form of memorial ritual? Yeah. So we were thinking and planning about performative memorial rituals.
Nice. And the last group?
I can share the screen. Now I hope this would work. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Shall I present it, or?
If you can, that would be great.
Okay. So we had this idea of data sculptures. So it's based on this existence of crosses or shrines by the road in like places which people want to commemorate. And then we all had our places we want to keep a memory of in our minds. And we realized that a lot of us are somehow far away from the place, right? It's either on the other part of the globe or somewhere. So we would like to be able to access it in a virtual world. And also we would like to keep the nature of memorial in a way that it's not just our personal thing in our personal space, but it's widely accessible. So everyone who visits the place on the Google Maps would be able to see that there actually is something we placed there. So we know that it's possible to upload a picture into Google Maps when you pin the exact location, and then you can, whoever like opens it can see it. And we had this idea of every time you visit the place, a certain compression algorithm will be executed on the image. So it will slowly mimic the decomposition of physical objects in the nature, which are like placed as memorials, up until a point when a visitor which comes next and next and next we'll see just a blurred image of what actually was originally uploaded there as a memory. And also our project name would be Google Shrines. And yeah, I believe we got other bits there which I didn't mention. Maybe someone else wants to say something.
Yeah. So one part that we were talking about too is that because these memorials last longer when more people, or they last shorter when more people visit them, it's almost like a cultural obligation that you need to, if you remember something there and you have like a digital picture of it, then you should upload it too, so it keeps the memory alive longer. And there's so this like decomposition idea was based on how, if there's like, say there's a memorial at like the base of a tree, those are, and they're like hand cut flowers or like a stuffed toy or something, those are going to last a lot shorter than other memorials, such as like a war statue on a hill that's made of bronze or iron. So we want the memorials that are more visited to last much longer.
And I guess,
Very nice.
Yeah, and I guess it's also the contrast between like archiving stuff and remembering stuff. You know, like we don't really want to archive anything because it's a very different act and it has a very different connotation, and it's also more difficult. So the beauty of this is basically the images get smaller and smaller, so we don't increase our digital footprint.
Yeah. Really nice. Composition idea, I really like that in this context. I also just sent the link. There is Like to Death. I don't know if anyone has heard about this project. It's an Amsterdam-based artist, Jeffrey Lillemon. And apparently the more people visiting this site, the more decay happens on this website. So the whole thing will also die when you like it, not visiting, but liking it. That's Like to Death. It's quite a nice idea as well. Wait, am I muted? No.
So, sorry, can you explain again? Because I got, how you say it? Suddenly a lot of sound happened from this side, so I didn't hear.
From my side or your side?
No, the link you send us. The like.
Yeah.
Really loud thunderstorm going on.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. I haven't heard it when I clicked on it. No, as far as I know, it's by Amsterdam-based artist, but he's from the US, Jeffrey Lillemon. I don't know if you know him. But the idea is that the site will die the more people like it on Facebook. I mean, I think there's this link when you say like it, then the more decomposition will happen through liking. So actually liking it to death, literally. It's a digital decomposition. Yeah, I think it's from 2013. It's a bit older. Okay. Last 5 minutes.
So maybe we could talk about the afterlife of this work.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. So first, yeah, thank you very much. Really nice ideas and so much so little time. I don't know who is interested in letting this have an afterlife. I would be totally up to. We can all stay in. I mean, we have all each other's email addresses, so we can just see if there's still what can it be physically. I still like the idea of a mass memorial shirt. It's not really a mass, but group memorial shirt. This can be actually a nice thing, or something. How to gather it and see if it's a prototype. What I said in the beginning, there is I have to ask a friend of mine. She did a project. That's a website. You can mix a lot of different. Well, I forget it correct now. activist statements and faces like Che Guevara, and you can mix your shirt and download it to print. So it can be something like this that people can do it on demand. But maybe that's even the afterlife. But that somehow comes back to the physical world that people wear it as a shirt. Or it can be part of a collection that I'm working on. This can also be a thing. But I'm really curious about all the visualizations, of course. This is now the sketches, so good. But for everyone who's interested, like the Sky Dancer, can you visualize it and sketch it really not to detail? Could it be produced even? Also, I mean, each project can, I think, be realized. I don't know how much this can be promised, maybe or funding, I don't know, but maybe just to be to have something to think of, we can still work on that if you're interested in it. And then we just stay in touch to give it an afterlife. I would really be up for that.
Yeah, I think all of these ideas
they are
deserve
good
to be realized, and
there is a lot of potential now in all the areas. Really nice.
We can do a mock-up at least, for example, animated one.
Yeah, exactly. So one further step to visualizing, and then I don't know. Try to realize it.
The nicest thing.
Yeah.
So does everyone have Stefan's email address? Are you all in
Did everyone get my mail as well? Sometimes I'm a bit afraid because...
No, Pari, you don't. So maybe, Stefan, put your email address in the chat.
Yeah.
And to make sure we are all able to contact you.
Let me check.
Or maybe it's... And yeah, we can maybe just continue in an email group and maybe also split in these smaller groups and somehow discuss how to make it happen.
Yeah.
In the upcoming days.
Yeah.
Yes, totally.
Yeah.
And when the time is there, I think there's really something I think can easily realize. Maybe even a small expo. I mean, now we're still in this Corona situation. We have to see what's happening when, but I think this would be really nice to have it somewhere in the future. I think it's 2021 to get it done. I also know kind of in which context, but the thing is that there's something not official yet, so I don't dare to say it because then things go wrong. So that's why
don't.
That's why I don't want to do it. But there's nice contexts within this can happen. But I will keep you updated then.
Okay. So yeah, then thank you, everyone.
Any last words? Oh, I got one thing, by the way. Look, that's really ironically. So when the festival opened, my washing machine died. Fucking hell, yeah. It's really not good. But this thing is heavy. I want to do something with it. I don't know what yet, but no.
Good piece of material.
Yeah.
Could be maybe also used for protection if you wear it in front of your face.
It's just heavy. It's really heavy.
But you're hardcore.
No.
Okay.
Well,
no, thank you all.
Thank you for the inspiring workshop.
And thank you guys for all the thoughts and results. Really impressed.
It was a very interesting discussion.
Yeah, thanks a lot. It's very inspirational.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for this. And like I also wanted to say, I think like some of the ideas are interesting to consider, like in how they might overlap. So depending on how things go, something simple or even just like to unfold into other things in future.
Yeah.
Thank you
definitely, for this. Good. I got one question. Was there something planned like after workshop drinks, was there a Zoom? I just don't know if there was something mentioned or not. Usually you would go out and say, let's have a drink or something, but was there anything planned or not?
We are going to have another party, actually after party, after the program ends. It starts at 7. I can give you a link, but it's already in our program. And, but I have to check because we have plans that it will be in Mozilla Hubs where we could meet. I'm not sure now. I have to check because it's really happening as we speak. And let me check.
Well, for sure already. Cheers.
Oh no, but I guess it's just a live stream. But we can definitely meet in the Anthill Mozilla Hubs project. Did you try it after the opening?
I tried, but I didn't get anywhere. I don't know. I tried 4 times and somehow I just was somewhere, but I don't know where.
It was probably just a lobby, and then you need to get from the lobby in the actual room. I'm going to share here in the chat a link to the Anthill project.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know how to get to this one room. That was the thing, but I will figure out.
Oh.
Yeah. Or another suggestion is to set up another Zoom call session if you want.
Yeah.
But we will need this account for another workshop that's starting in half an hour. So
yeah,
we need to prepare.
Otherwise, we could, yeah, I mean, what it's inside outside festival. If anyone wants, I don't have a Zoom account, so I'm just limited if I host something to 40 minutes. But I don't know if
you can meet at the Jitsi or
a Jitsi or something. If anyone knows, I can send you. Who would be up for a drink maybe in an hour or something, or immediately now? Then I can make a Jitsi, send you the link, and when you click, you're immediately in it. If
yeah, I would
can
consider
also do
right now.
So
okay.
Then create the link, leave it here in the chat.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. I put it here in 5 minutes.
No.
I need a snack. I haven't eaten anything.
But you need to put it here now because then
okay.
all will be closed.
Oh yeah, true.
Or just send us an email. No, the mailing list.
Oh yes, send out an email.
Oh yeah, wait, it's already there.
Or
Stefan, could you add my email to the email list as well? I just threw it in the chat.
Okay, great. I will do it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Copy.
So
it's a GT. Just click it, and then we're all there. It's apparently, for what I heard from Bits of Freedom, that it's the best privacy protected thing. No account, nothing is needed. Yes, I put your email address. Yes.